All right. Hey, everyone. It's Sam Crowley. I want to welcome you to the Podcast Accelerator Program. Okay. And let me get out of this here. Don't necessarily care to go to Zootopia. All right. Welcome, everybody. It's Sam Crowley. We're going to talk all about podcasting today on webinar number 2, 3, and 4. I'm also going to go over the bonuses and everything that came with the course when you purchased it at GBS, which, by the way, you guys were ridiculously awesome at GBS. I felt so much love. Being away from my family here in Cincinnati, my wife and my 4 daughters, I get homesick, when I'm on the road. And when I was on stage and when I was in that venue, at the Florida Mall and Conference Center down in Orlando last Friday, the 12th. It was just amazing. So thank you so much for making me not feel homesick and filling the room with just so much crazy positive energy. I really enjoyed it, and I cherish that. So thank you for doing that. You guys, you really need to be commended. And I know that Dennis said this and but there really is, that when you're a speaker and you speak on stages, I've been speaking on stages for the better part of the past 10 or 12 years. There's just an energy that you can't put your finger on. You guys brought that. So, and I know you bring it to every event you go to. So keep that up, because speakers live for that. Just the energy, you just can't even put a price on that, and you guys feed off that as well. I can tell. All right. So let me kind of give an overview of what you purchased, okay? Take a look here. This is the flyer that was in the back of the room at GBS, and I'm going to go over this, all right, for everybody. You get the 4-week Podcast Accelerator Program, and here's all the bonuses. Done for you VIP podcast launch, meaning when you're ready to launch, and that won't be until after our second webinar at the earliest, and it can be as late as next year. And the reason I say that is I'm not trying to encourage procrastination. I'm just saying, don't stress, okay? Oh my God, I got to get my podcast. Sam's not going to help. That's not true. I'm not going anywhere, all right? You have my email address. It's sam@everydayissaturday.com. Just reply to any of the emails you got last week, and I'll respond back to you. So don't stress when you're getting it. There is no award for getting your podcast up first, okay? Some people are just fast like that. They just learn faster. They apply quicker. But, if you're a single mom with 3 kids and you're working a job right now, I get it. It's not easy to get this stuff done. So while I'm not trying to make excuses for that, I'm also trying to take a load off your back that this isn't the only course you're probably going through. This isn't the only online class you're learning. And I just don't want you to stress about it. So when you're ready to launch, send me an email and I'll get you on iTunes. Okay. 4 live webinars. That's what we're doing right now. Number 2. So this is webinar number 1 of 4. An interview on my show after you have launched your podcast. That is your reward. I'm going to interview you on mine. And again, it can be a year from now. It doesn't need to be next week. Okay. A lot of people are like, I want to get on your podcast. Well, careful. If we don't have anywhere to send people on the podcast, meaning when I interview you, then there's no reason to get on the podcast right now. Karen's having a little bit of an audio issue. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes. Type into the chat. You still hearing the audio okay? Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to just type in here. It's on your end, Karen. Okay. Thanks, guys. So interview on my podcast. The reason you want to have an interview on my show is because you want to be able to promote something. It's not just to be interviewed. So we want to send them to a landing page, an autoresponder, a giveaway. And ideally, we want to promote your podcast so people will plug in and listen to you as well. Okay. So again, no rush on that. Access to the Everyday Saturday Academy. You're going to receive an email tomorrow. All right. And it's going to say this in the subject line: welcome Momentum Club member. And it's going to say, welcome, here are your credentials. Your email and your password is going to be pre-populated. Your ticket's been punched. The Everyday is Saturday Academy. Go here, log in using these credentials right here in the email. And so the Everyday is Saturday Academy is a 4-week, tons and tons and tons of great content. You'll see what I'm talking about. Actually, let me just click here and see if it goes there real. Okay, so when you log in, you're going to go here. This is week 1, your pre-Saturday foundation. Week 2, your Saturday associate's degree and all the videos and lessons that come with that. I'm just going to click on one random one there. Okay. Week number 3, right here. There's your 301 courses that come with that, and so on and so forth. Okay. So all of these videos here, these are all part of the Everyday is Saturday Academy. Okay. So you'll have this email tomorrow. So I just want to show you that. And it's going to say, welcome Momentum Club member. You would have received an email from me last week with how to access, Jamie's having issues here. It's on your end, J-A-M-L-E. You would have received an email last week about how to access the Momentum Club. All right. I'll put that in the email tomorrow as well. Okay. So you get access to the Momentum Club and access the Everyday Saturday Academy. You would have already got the link. It's my Facebook group, private Facebook group. I do a Facebook Live for 1 hour every other Friday, as well as we provide support inside of there for people to have questions. Okay. And then the last thing is your 60-minute power call. You and I jump on the call. We jump on an hour phone call. Again, this can happen at any time. There is no deadline for any of this. So if you want to have a 60-minute marketing messaging call, my real strength where I work with clients is getting really crystal clear on your message and where your best time is spent and how you're going to make the biggest impact with your message, like Every Day is Saturday, how to build a movement, how to build a brand with that. If you want to take that in a direction of podcasting, of social media marketing, of speaker, how to get booked on stages, you can go wherever you want to go for that 1 hour. That's fine. Just have the questions ready for me so we can get the most out of that call. Okay. You want to get the most value out of that 1 hour, not just, hey, how you doing? What's it like in Cincinnati? How you doing out in California? Hey, good. You have any kids? That's not a good call. A good call would be, hey, Sam, I think I'm really close on a message, but I really need your advice on what do you think about these 3 ideas I've got, okay? So that's the program, the Podcast Accelerator program with all the bonuses. Can you just type into the chat? Does that make sense? Yes? No? Questions? Type into the chat. Does this all make sense? Yes, 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 yes. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Okay. Yes, makes sense. All right. So there we go. This is iTunes. We're going to dive into iTunes now. Okay. So I'm not going to answer any text or chat or anything like that for the moment. I'm going to dive right into the training, and then we'll take a break in about 15 minutes and I'll come back and answer any questions or anything in the chat. Just use the chat and I'll come back and see it. Okay. So this is iTunes. And the reason we're starting here is because this is where your podcast is going to end up. This is the homepage of iTunes. Okay. How did I get to iTunes? Well, on a Mac, it's already built in. All right. The Mac, it's already built into the Mac. Okay. Let me just see something. Okay. Let me go back to Google here. If you're on Windows and you don't have iTunes, download iTunes for Windows. Right there. Follow the link. It's right there. Download it to your computer, and you will, when you open it up, you're going to be on this page. Okay. That's how you get there if you don't have a Mac. So this is the home page, and there's 13 different categories that your podcast can be in. Now, the likelihood of your show fitting perfectly into one of these podcasts is very, very slim. All right. I would be shocked if anybody had one that was perfect for one of these. These are just general categories. So you have arts, you have business, comedy, education, games and hobbies, government and organization, health, kids and family, music, news and politics. Let me just see if I click this right here. Okay, go back here. Religion and spirituality, science and medicine, society and culture, sports and recreation, technology, TV and film, okay? So there's only 13 categories. That's why I said the likelihood of yours fitting perfectly, but it'll fit somewhere. Mine's in the business category, all right? So when you click on business, every single category has what's called a new and noteworthy section in iTunes and a what's hot section in iTunes. as well as the top podcasts over here. So there's a number of ways. And then you have every single podcast that is in the business section. Okay. It's the same way for every one of those 13 categories. So what part of your homework, yes, I'm already giving homework. Can you believe it? Well, what kind of a guy am I? We're 10 minutes into the training, I'm already giving homework. Well, part of your homework I want you to do is I want you to go up here to this search bar. Let me just clear these searches so we start fresh. I want you to go up into the search bar, and I want you to type in the category or the brand or the niche that you feel best describes you. Let me give an example. Let's say you're vegan, okay, and you want to do a podcast on being a vegan. I'm just going to type that word into the search bar in iTunes. This is a general search bar, no different than a search engine, Google, Yahoo, Bing, anything like that. I want you to type the search in there, and up comes all the different podcasts. And I want you to click here that says see all. I want you to expand this and start looking at. So you should be right now, if you're working along and you have iTunes open on your computer, kind of do this on the side, because this, by the way, is being recorded. So you don't have to literally like sit there and take notes all the time on what I'm talking about. You can work along while we're doing this, and you can see and listen at the same time. So type into the search bar up here, if you want to right now, what your kind of niche brand is. So if it were vegan, Audio Boom, vegan posts. Look at this, guys. Number one, just for the keyword vegan, hasn't been, look at this. There's only 16 shows. Is this not the most ridiculous? I didn't even know. I didn't plan this to happen this way. I did this kind of presentation in Orlando. If you remember, I used Las Vegas real estate, sales training. If you wanted to do a vegan podcast, you'd be number one in this if you just put the word vegan. You know why he's there? Because he's got the word vegan in the very first part of the title. How do you do this here? We're going to talk about this next week, okay? How do you set up your title, description, details, and all that stuff? He or she doesn't even have any, he's got one review and it's terrible. So go back here. That's not what I wanted you to see, by the way. I wanted you to look at what other thought leaders in your industry, the podcasters, what other podcasters are talking about, like what topics. So here's an example here. All right, you've got, is palm oil vegan? Should vegans eat palm oil? Vegan at work. Are oysters vegan? Masculinity in meat. What's wrong with eggs? So the reason I want you to do this is to get an idea of topics you can talk about, what other podcasters are talking about that seems to be popular, how long are their shows, and maybe even take a listen in. You don't need to download. You can literally just hit this play button and it'll just start playing.
Hey everyone, welcome to Food for Thought, the place to explore, celebrate, and manifest a life motivated and defined by unconditional compassion and optimal wellness. You know by now that the mission in my work is to empower people to make informed content of this episode, rather live a compassionate life than contribute to something that is so evil and awful.
Evil and awful. Okay.
Some may say is really not the reason for most of the major health issues.
Okay. I just listened to 10 seconds of it. But what I would recommend you do is get an idea of what other podcasters are talking about on iTunes. It'll give you an idea of what you can talk about. Does that make sense? So you can start to look at and research what other podcasters are talking about. And this is a good one because it's got 1,138 reviews. That's a lot. I'm sure it's got a lot of ratings, some good, some not so good. It doesn't matter. If somebody had all 5-star reviews, that would throw a red flag up to me. I mean, you got to have some people that don't like your show. And not everybody's going to love your show. And that's okay. So this is a really good one to look at. The album art is good. All right, Food for Thought podcast. It comes up in the vegan category. So start looking at other vegan radio feed. Again, this one's old. It comes up one of the top ones because it's got the word vegan in the title. All right. So that's number one. What I want you to do is I want you to search iTunes and go up into the search bar in between our webinar this week and next week and see what other people, what their album art looks like, what they're talking about, and kind of get a feel for what you can talk about. Okay? Let me see here. Q&A. Let's see. Answer, dismiss. Bear with me one second. Okay. Any questions, guys? You can type them into the chat if you have any questions at all about what I just showed you, okay, relative to going into iTunes and searching. So let's get back into the iTunes store. Inside, you see new and noteworthy. And what is new and noteworthy? What does this mean? Well, and first of all, why am I focusing on iTunes? Well, because 80% of your downloads are going to come from iTunes, if not more. Okay, so if you're looking at 80%, it's a big number. So we're gonna, the 80-20 rule, right? I mean, we're not going to spend all of our time looking at all the different ones. We're going to look at the one that's got 80%. So, question from Kathleen. Can you use the same name as, let me back up. Susan has a question. Can you show up in two categories? Absolutely. Absolutely. For example, if my show shows up, if you type up, you can show up in two categories. Are you asking about categories or keywords, Susan? Because I was going to show you inside the motivation keyword, there's my show there. And there's another keyword up here for, say, success, for example. And it'll show up as one of the top shows down here for success, okay? So you can show up on, why would that? Look at the title of my show, Motivation, Inspiration, Success with Entrepreneur Coach Sam Crowley. So this has a lot to do with how you show up. Not the only reason. This isn't the only, don't get caught up in, oh my God, I got to name the title of my show. Not exactly, okay? It helps, but it's not the only reason why, okay? Can you use the same name as another podcast in your group? Yeah, I mean, it's like the title of a song. There's several songs. I don't even know a good example of one, but you probably would. There's a Pointer Sisters song that I think has the same name of another one. I know what it is, but I don't know the name of it. Yes, you can use the same name. However, I don't think that's a good idea only from this perspective, okay? If Jump. Yes, Jump. Michelle to the rest. Michelle, you get a gold star on your forehead. Michelle just said Jump. Van Halen and the Pointer Sisters. That was strong, Michelle. I don't know where you pulled that from, but that was strong. If there was another podcast, I'm old. I'm older than you probably. I actually knew what you were talking about. If there was another podcast called Every Day is Saturday, I wouldn't have named my show Every Day is Saturday. I probably would have played with the word Saturday as the root word. So I would encourage you not to. You can, but you better have a plan with that to rock it to the top, and work that podcast quickly. Because if there was two shows side by side called Every Day is Saturday, I would be a little, like if somebody started another podcast called Every Day is Saturday, I'd be like, what'd you go and do that for? There's too many good ideas out there. All right. So I would say lean away. You can, first of all, there's no rule against it that I'm aware of, but I wouldn't recommend it from a marketing standpoint. Okay. Now you see, what does this mean? When you see business and then careers and then my podcast? Well, let's go back here to the homepage, okay? When I went to business, you scroll all the way down here and you see more business news, careers, investing, management and marketing, and shopping. So within business, my podcast is under the subset of business/careers. And so when you expand all these podcasts, there's 3, 6, what is this? 8, I can't see them, 9. So there's 9, 18. So my show is 21 in all of iTunes under the business career, which is actually pretty good. I'll take it. You got Zig Ziglar, John Lee Dumas, all these big heavy hitters here, the EntreLeadership Show. Hey, I'm ahead of Dave Ramsey, everybody. Just want you to know. Shout out for me. But anyway, the point being, there's a subset, okay? So you're going to go back here again. When we set up your podcast next week and I show you how to do this and set it up, you're going to have an opportunity to go under, let's go health. So health is the main umbrella, if you will, type category. And the subcategories for health are alternative health, fitness and nutrition, self-help. So those of you in the personal development niche, you might want to, for me, it was kind of a tug of war between, should I go under business or should I go under health? Because self-help is an area that I chose business. And you know what, guys? My experience, it doesn't matter. It just, to me, it does. What I mean doesn't matter is don't lay awake at night worrying about which one of these 13 categories. Pick one that sounds good, because where most of your people are going to find you is by searching up here in the search bar. Okay? That's where they're going to find you. All right? So, but here are all. So when your show comes up, if you go under this self-help category and somebody clicks on your podcast album art here, which is what that's called, it's going to say health, fitness, and nutrition. Okay? So that's how it's going to show up. All right. So that is iTunes. I want to make sure. So you've got New and Noteworthy, which it's funny. Like this guy's podcast shows up. I don't know who this guy is. He's been under New and Noteworthy since like my oldest kid was born. I don't even know how. I don't even know. And then what this is supposed to be, it's supposed to be a section for new podcasts that just hit the scene, as well as ones that are noteworthy. Like, wow, you should really listen to this one, you know? And then the What's Hot section, this is What's Hot. So if you go up back here to the category that you want to show up, and I check this often because this is how I get a lot of people emailing me asking if they can come on my podcast, you know? So if you go under well, I already showed you careers, for example, What's Hot, you expand it, number 20 or whatever. And you're going to have people as you rise up. Now, here's a marketing technique. We're going to go over this in week 3. So we're not going to do this right now. But if I were you and I wanted to get noticed faster, I would reach out to a lot of the top podcasters in my niche, the ones that are listed here, and ask if they do interviews, because this is my resume, and I would send an email and let them know. Let me just see if I have an example. And to get interviewed on their show. Let me just see some here. Gmail. Let me type in here. Bear with me one second. Search guest for, let's see here. Guest for your show. See if it comes up. I probably delete it. I delete. Guest for your show. I get a lot of these requests. A lot of these. Hi, my name's Matt Ward. I run an investment syndicate, host top podcast, blah, blah, blah. This is his whole email about what he can offer my audience by coming on the show. Okay? I'm contacting you because I think there's a lot that we could talk about which would be interesting for your audience, and I'm hoping you'd be interested in having me as a guest on your podcast. Here's an idea that I came up with. So he already came up with an idea. I get a lot of agents that interview me that on behalf of other people. This is somebody that, Dear Sam, whether you realize it or not, and these are cookie cutter guys. These are just, they take out Dear Mary and they put in Dear Sam, and they want to come on my podcast to be interviewed. All right. So anyway, this can be you. Jackie Lappin is the person who books, and so is Missy Hatfield for this particular individual. So if you want to get on somebody else's show, reach out to them and have that cookie cutter email, personalize it a little bit, and tell them why you'd be a great guest. That'll increase the downloads of your show. But we'll go over that in week 3, all right, with the marketing part of this. Can we later change categories? Yeah, you can. Art asked the question, can you change categories later if you want to go to a different one? Yeah, yes, you can. All right. Is everybody with me so far? Can I do kind of a check 20 minutes in? You guys with me? Good so far? Everything all right? All right. Did you have any idea that there was this much information just inside of iTunes? I mean, this much content. It's crazy, man. I'm telling you, this is how I built my business since 2006. This is exactly what I'm teaching you. So I hope you're enjoying it. All right. So this is iTunes. Okay. So what I want to touch on also, I want to touch on equipment. And I know we went over this a little bit in Orlando, but I definitely want to touch on it now for those of you that weren't able to follow along. Leaf page. And again, if you have any questions, type them right into the chat. I'll get them all answered. Our goal is what? Do you remember what my golden rule was in Orlando? Don't spend money, okay? Logitech headset. Don't spend money. So I'm going to give you 3 options, all right, for microphones. Good, better, best. You choose based on I don't know your current finances, but I do know one thing. You don't got to spend money on a microphone. All right. You don't got to go buying mixers and all these crazy things. I see people right out of the box spending $2,000. You don't even know what your message is. Oh my God, why are you spending this money? All right. Logitech headset, H390. It's simple. Is it the best microphone out there? No. Will it work for a podcast? Yes. Okay. If the option is right now, by the way, I forgot the adapter. I'm in my office. I'm 20 minutes from my house. I'm speaking into the built-in microphone on my computer. So I hope it sounds okay. Next week, I'll have my mic back. It'll sound a little bit better. But look, not the end of the world. All right. If I didn't tell you I was talking into the built-in mic on my computer, you may not have even known. But if you're hearing a little bit of it, like I'm in a bigger room, that's why. So next week, it'll be different. This will eliminate that. So you put this around your head, and $20, you're out the door, and there's the microphone right there. All right. Logitech headset, and it's $20. Next one that I'm going to show you. Blue Yeti. This is the Blue Yeti, okay? $130. And I would recommend also, you see this thing, see this guy here, that filter, that pop filter? I'd recommend getting one of those or one of these foam balls that you can put over, because it eliminates the pop, pop, pop sound, you know, when you're talking into the microphone. So I would get this pop filter along with it. Again, we're not in the business of spending money, but it'll make your microphone, if you go this direction, it'll make your sound better. Now, of course, you can't do it if you got the Logitech headset. I'm saying when you go up in price like this. All right. So you've got the Blue Yeti. There it is. The cool thing about this, you see how it has the microphone all around the top. I did an interview outside in a park with a guy last summer, and it wasn't exactly quiet. It was kind of windy out, and there was kids playing everywhere. The sound sounded great. Why? Because that silver, all that microphone on top there picks up sound right around it, wherever it's coming in from, 360 degrees. So you don't have to talk right into the mic. And I recorded my audiobook, 2 of my audiobooks with this microphone as well. So it's good. And this filter right here you can use attaches to it. I don't think it comes with it. And by the way, don't buy it from this person because they have 2-star reviews. So buy it from Amazon. I'm just giving you the example. Okay. So don't buy it from this person. But I would get the filter that comes with it as well. Okay. And then the last one, and this is, you know, for those of you that drive a Rolls Royce and you just throw money out your window every day, Heil PR40. The Heil PR40. That's what I use right there. And it's great. It's like radio station quality mic. And it also has a USB adapter that comes with it. Or not comes with it, that you can buy separate. I'm sorry. You buy it separately. Okay. I showed you that mic. Don't buy it. Do not buy that mic until you have about 50 podcasts, 50 done, because you shouldn't be spending money on equipment right out of the gate, unless you just got a lot of money. I mean, or you're just passionate about it. Say, look, hey, I don't mind spending $300 on a microphone, Sam. I'm good. Well, then go do it. That's great. That's great. I just want to let you know that it's not going to make your podcast better because you have a $300 microphone. What's going to make your podcast better is the fact that you actually have a great message that you're passionate about. Okay? So that's the equipment side. All right. Everybody get the equipment part. Yes? Understand the microphones? All right. Any questions about microphones at all? You need one. So even if you only spend the $20 one. Okay? All right, cool. Okay. So we've talked about iTunes. We've talked about the equipment. You don't need all of them. No, just get one. Angeline asks, do you need all those mics? No, just one. Pick one and go with what fits your budget. Don't spend a lot of money on equipment up front. Okay. Okay. So now, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to move into the last part of this training for the next 30 minutes. Is going to be about recording your voice. All right. So when you have your microphone, you're going to be recording, but you need to create an MP3 file. That's all of these files here on iTunes are played by MP3 files. Okay. They're a small condensed audio file. All right. So if we're going to create an MP3 file, we need to be able to speak. Right? Makes sense. Maybe record our voice. So what we're going to do We're going to go back up here to Google. By the way, a lot of people ask me questions. Hey, Google it. Just literally type your question into Google. If you can't get a hold of me or somebody else, and I mean, I guess just about anything. I mean, how to peel a hard-boiled egg in less than a minute, or how to drink a gallon of water, or, anything. But when it comes to podcasting, same thing. Google it. All right. Because you'll get to your answer a lot faster. Question from Christy. Can I get random on my podcast even though I have a niche? Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, mix it up. If that's who you are, Christy, if you're somebody that wants to drop a random show once out of every 3 or 4 shows, do it. Absolutely. Look, guys, that's a good question. If that's who you are, this is the greatest time to express yourself. This is the greatest platform to express yourself. Because a lot of top podcasters, they'll go off the beaten path. They might be in finance and they'll be talking about banks and real estate loans and all that stuff. And they're like, hey, guys, this week we got somebody that's going to talk about smoothies and the best smoothies. I know it's not banking, but it'll keep you healthy. We're all about, instead of financial health, we're going to talk about your physical health. You know what I mean? So just work it into the show somehow. Absolutely. All right, guys, you're in Google. Type in Audacity. Okay? And the first thing that comes up, if it doesn't, we're going to audacityteam.org. But we're right here. It's probably going to be the very first thing. It's this guy over here to the right, too. That's the logo for Audacity. It's free. All right. We're not going to pay for anything. Remember, we don't pay for anything. Let me just X out of that. Audacity. Whoops. Sorry. See, I'm trying to type. I was trying to X out of the chat, and I got back. Bear with me 1 second. Whoops. Did it again. Here we go. Google. Audacity. All right. Click that. All we're going to do is download it. Okay. We want this software on our computer. There's a download if you work on Windows, and there's a download if you work on a Mac. Okay. I'm going to click the Mac option, but if you work on Windows, choose that. I'm going to hit Mac. I'm going to come right down here to this Audacity 2.3.0 DMG file. All right. And here's one thing to point out. If you have your firewall settings or your privacy settings set really high, you're going to have to lower them to be able to download this. All right. Just an FYI, I don't know your computer and how it's set up, but if you're getting that error that it's not downloading, you want to limit the restrictions just for now to be able to download from the internet. Okay. So I clicked that. Don't hit that Start Now button. That's an ad. All right. So we're going to go down here. This is your Windows installer. This is your Mac. So I'm going to hit Mac, download. And I'm going to save the file. This is what it looks like. Okay. So I'm going to click Save File. All right. The file has downloaded. So I'm going to open the file right here. All right, drag the Audacity app icon to the application. So this is, you're going to drag it into your applications folder like this. That's it. So what do? Open up my applications folder. Right here. Find Audacity, double click it. It's an application downloaded from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? Yes. Here it is. That's it. I didn't download this on my phone, no. Karen asked, did you download this on your phone? No, I did not download this on my phone. Strictly on my computer, okay? So this is what Audacity looks like, and I'm going to give you a brief tour of Audacity. And again, a lot of this stuff doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter right now, okay? You can get into some of the funky editing techniques and things like that, but what's our goal? Our goal is to keep this very simple. I'm way more concerned that you know what you're going to talk about rather than how you're going to record it. Does that make sense? I am way more concerned that you have an idea of actually what your message is versus all the bells and whistles and how you're going to record it and all that good stuff. Okay. So when you're in your car recording remotely, what do you use then? Well, I plug in the microphone to my computer and I use this, exactly what you're looking at. That's what I use. Now, I did just buy, and I literally just bought this on Saturday. I bought an MV88 microphone from the Apple store for $150 that plugs into my iPhone. I'll show you guys that in week 3. And I'll show you how to also download. If you want to record right into the memo section of your phone, you can export that to Dropbox. Okay. So let me just, let me show you guys real quick. I have a Dropbox account because it works right with Apple. You see this right here, 10/20/18, that's a WAV file that was created. Church of Christ is nothing more than the location where this M4A file was created. These are audio files right here, okay? Mason Professional Development Center, that's where I recorded in my car the one time. All of this stuff. So when I record on my iPhone, and this is a little bit too much into the weeds and I wanted to go into, but it's important that you know this because it's on the replay and you can always refer back to it. When you record into the memo section on your iPhone, there's an option to export that to Dropbox. And when you export it to Dropbox, it's right here. And then you download it to your computer and you bring it into Audacity simply by going to File, Import Audio. I'll show you that, okay? So that, you don't need to know that right now, but I will show you how to do that, okay? So Audacity, so to answer your question, Karen, I hook up my microphone directly to my laptop that you're watching this on right now, and I record into Audacity. That's what I've done for 10 years, okay? I literally just stopped doing it in the last year as a 100% time occurrence, okay? Susan, so Audacity is replacing GarageBand. No, it will for the purpose of this training. If you know how to create an MP3 file in GarageBand, go ahead and use GarageBand. I'm using Audacity because we're training 37 people at one time from Guerrilla Business School, and not everybody has GarageBand on their computer or has Adobe Audition or anything like that. And this is free, Free. And I've been using it since 2005, guys, and it's free. And I'm telling you, if I would have, I'm sure there's a better one out there for Adobe Auditions, like $20 a month, or you can pay $300. I don't want you to spend money. I don't want you to spend money. I want you to get your message. That's the whole point. I want you to have a great message. So you can probably find better sounding. I don't even know if you can. Maybe not. I'm just saying, you can spend money on this stuff. Audacity's free, and we're training 30-some people at one time. So this works on Windows, and it works on a Mac at the same time, okay? So inside Audacity, you have your record button, your fast forward, rewind, stop, play, and pause, just like on your basic recorder. Now, I don't have a microphone plugged into my laptop, but you're going to have one plugged in, and I'm going to have one starting next week. But when I record my podcast, I always have a mic plugged in. And this is the only thing I want you to check for, okay? When you open up Audacity, you must already have your microphone plugged into your USB port. Let me say that again. Before you open up Audacity, you must have your microphone already plugged into your USB port, because if not, it won't run. Audacity will not recognize your mic. How will you know that you already have your microphone and Audacity is recognizing it? You're going to go right here. You're going to click on Audacity, Preferences, Recording. Everybody see that? Recording device, built-in microphone. Now, your mic that's plugged in, if it's a Logitech headset, it's going to say Logitech headset when you hit the drop-down box. If it's a Blue Yeti, it's going to say Blue Yeti in here. If it's a Blue Snowball, it's going to say that. Whatever mic you got plugged in, it's going to recognize that when you look at this device. Make sure you hit the drop-down box and that is highlighted, whatever microphone. That's all I want you to do with this, okay? That's as technical as we get this week with Audacity, all right? So make sure your mic is already plugged in before you open up Audacity. So let's take a little, just to hit a record real quick here. Hey everyone, it's Sam Crowley. I want to welcome you to the #1 motivational podcast on the planet, the Every Day is Saturday show. Okay, that's just a test run on a built-in mic. Hey everyone, it's Sam Crowley. I want to welcome you to the #1 motivational podcast on the planet, the Every Day is Saturday show. So if you can envision me in my car or at home, this is how I literally have recorded every podcast for the last 12 to 13 years. All right, just what you see right here, except I'll talk for 10 minutes. All right, but I'm only using this little 7-second snippet or so to give you an idea of what you can now do with your editing. So we're going to assume that this 7-second little snippet here is 10 minutes of you talking about whatever it is you're passionate about, your podcast, okay? And you're going to introduce your show, and you're going to talk about, you're going to have an intro and extra, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. But I'm just talking about the message right here, okay? So if you find yourself inside of your podcast and you're like, oh, man, let's say you're talking for 7 minutes and the doorbell rings and it's the mailman, or your kids bust into the room. I can't even tell you. I think my kids have interrupted at least 500 podcasts I've done. Dad. I'm like, okay, well, I think I'll stop recording now for a little bit. And so you have to stop. So you hit the stop button and you're like, oh my God, I got more I got to record. So how do you get back into that state? How do you get back into that rhythm that you had? Well, you go back and listen to what you just recorded. Hey everyone, it's Sam Crowley. I want to welcome you to the #1 motivational podcast on the planet, the Every Day is Saturday show. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to assume for the sake of it, I remember what I was talking about. I'm going to fast forward this right here. See that? Fast forward, skip to the end right there, and I'm going to keep recording. On today's show, we're going to talk about the power of decision making. When you make a decision, it leads to action. Action leads to results. Results leads to experience and wisdom. And then you become unstoppable. Okay, so that's what happens if you have a situation where you got to stop recording. So what do you do? But you've got this big gap here. Listen. That's on the planet, the Every Day is Saturday show. On today's show, we're going to talk about the power. That's way too big of a gap. Well, we got a real easy fix for that. Okay, we got this thing called the selection tool right here. All right, it's always going to be the default selection of these 6 different tools here. And by the way, you're only going to use 2 of these tools most of the time, and maybe 3, this one here. But for now, the selection tool, make sure it's like a Roman numeral 1, capital I looking thing there. You're just going to click and drag, just like you would on a Word document, the part you want to remove. Do that. You see these scissors here? Cut. Now. On the planet, the Every Day is Saturday show. On today's show, we're going to talk about now it's seamless. See how that works? So there you go. So anybody have any questions? Let me just stop right there. Anybody have any questions about that? Recording, a little bit of editing. I mean, that's the most editing you're going to do with your podcast over and over and over again is click, drag, cut, take stuff out that you don't like. All right. Angeline, looks pretty simple. Yeah. If you cut too much. Oh, hey, that's a great question. All this time we thought you were flawless. Oh, Catherine, I am flawless. This is just for you commoners that don't know how to record. All right. Lynette has a great question. Gold star on Lynette's forehead. All right. Lynette says, if you cut too much, can you add back in? The beauty of this, Lynette, is, and everybody else, is there's that all so friendly undo button right here. Boop, it's back. And you can also go up here and edit, undo. So even if you didn't want to record that track that you just recorded, undo. And you know what's funny is, Catherine, you're right. There's a lot of editing that goes on behind the scenes, and you don't even know it. And on my show as well, because you're not distracted when you're listening, but most people who listen to podcasts, and you guys probably do, you're either on the treadmill or you're walking the dog or you're gardening or maybe you're cleaning or going for a walk or you're at work or something. You're not listening unless it's a really glaring error. You're not going to know somebody edited something. I can't tell you how many times I've had a podcast where I wanted to splice in about 90 seconds worth of content. I just threw it in there and you couldn't even tell unless you knew exactly where I threw it in. And that's where you're going to have the opportunity. No, there's multiple undo. It goes all the way to the beginning. Art asks, is there's multiple undo? You can go all the way back to the beginning and then you can redo it all too. So You can undo and redo for as far as you can go back. To my knowledge, there's no limit. And trust me, I've undone a lot. All right. All right. You can also just click and drag this and hit the delete button on your computer. That's all I did. Just hit the delete button and it'll delete it as well. Okay. So now you're looking at your main message here that you've been recording. Let me think before I go into, let's take a look at some intro and extra music, shall we? So you've got this message here. Go all the way. Anytime you want to go all the way back to the beginning, just hit this. All right, skip to the start. Hit play. Hey, everyone, it's Sam Crowley. I want to welcome you to the #1 motivational podcast on the planet, the Every Day is Saturday show. On today's show, we're going to talk about the power of decision making. When you make a decision, it leads to action. Action leads to results. Results leads to experience and wisdom, and then you become unstoppable. Okay, so then let's say you want to go in even deeper and do one more. Let me just show you this piece. And let's say, oh man, there was this hiccup right in here, but I can't, this is too narrow of a gap. Well, you can zoom in really, really far. So see where that line is right there? You just keep zooming in. Now it's every half a second you can edit, all right? Now it's every 1/10 of a second you can edit. You know what I mean? So you can literally, I'm just moving the mouse on my computer. That's all I'm doing to make this move back and forth like this. So you can find that spot, go really into like, I'm going 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10 of a second. I'm down to editing, and you can go down as far as you want, guys. But that's how far down. That I just hit the delete button, and you can get really deep. And if you want to zoom out, same thing. Just zoom all the way out like that. Okay. So this will help you when you want to edit really into your audio, and you want to take out, let's say, an ambulance went by, and you're like, oh my God, I got to take that ambulance. It happens to me. A lot of the times, I don't even edit out. Like, hey, there's an ambulance just went by. It's just, but if you want to be a little bit more professional than Sam Crowley, then you can edit that out. And that's how you would edit it out. Okay. So let's look at royalty-free music. Jingles, I mean, music that you want to go in. And the first place I'm going to send you to, I'm going to give you a couple of options here. AudioJungle.net. Now, Audio Jungle is just music. There's no voiceovers here. There's nobody saying, hey, welcome to the Everyday Saturday podcast, blah, 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 blah. Okay. These are just audio samples. So if they have thousands and thousands and thousands of audio. I'm at audiojungle.net. You guys can see up there. So you can literally just sample whatever audios you want from whatever genre you want. Here's all the different categories that you can choose from. I mean, I'm literally, let me just see, sound effect, music, ambient, children's, cinematic, classical, corporate, country, western, funk, groove. Let's do funk groove. And you just start sampling this stuff.
Audio Jungle.
I got a little toe tapping going on, by the way, right now. I got to tell you, I'm going to be honest. Okay. You can sample as much as you want inside of here. This particular, now these audios cost money, but you can use them now forever. All right. You don't have to worry about getting sued, because people are like, hey, can I use Frank Sinatra or Madonna or Van Halen? And yeah, Lady Gaga, sure. But you're going to get a cease and desist letter from an attorney, and then you're going to get sued because all that music's copyright. You cannot use copyrighted music for your podcast. Okay. So you're better off spending money, a little bit of money. And look, you can shop by price too inside of audio. You can put down, anywhere from, I think it's $7 is the lowest, all the way up to as high as you want to spend. But if you wanted to buy that audio, you check out, spend $20, download it to your computer, and now it's on your hard drive. And I'm going to show you how to bring that into Audacity for your intro and extra music. So that's audiojungle.net. If you want to sample literally thousands of tracks of what you think would go best with your show. All right. And then you download the MP3 file, and it's yours to keep forever, whatever you want to use it for. You can use it for backdrop music, B-roll video, whatever. Okay. The next I'm going to say is go to Fiverr, Fiverr. And We're going to go podcast, intro, and outro. Fiverr, Fiverr. You're going to have to set up an account to search this stuff, but I will voice a pro podcast intro and outro. I will produce your outro, custom logo, intro, outro. So what these are, guys, these are like my, I didn't get mine done here, but let me just see. Intro.mp3. This is mine.
Welcome to the Every Day is Saturday podcast, the #1 motivation show on the planet.
No more Mondays for you. It's time to make every day Saturday. Boom!
This is the podcast where we help you to accept who you are, not where you are.
On the roller coaster of life, you know we only sit in the front seat, champion. So make sure you are fastened in tight. Let's go!
Tired of feeling run down all the time during the week? We can help you make every day feel like it's a Saturday.
Let's go. Pack your bags. It's time to leave Averageville.
Introducing the man who thinks abnormal stands for above normal.
When you're on fire, people will travel from miles around to watch you burn, baby. We are fired up.
The host of the Every Day is Saturday show, Sam Crowley.
Okay, that's almost a minute. That's a long intro. I had that done professionally, and I do not want you to use this service because I don't want you spending hundreds of dollars. But I'm going to tell you where I got it done in case, like I said, you have a lot of money and you don't want to be limited. Music Radio, I'm going to go back to Fiverr in just a second. Musicradiocreative.com they did my podcast about 4 years ago. My intro. It probably cost me $200 for that. All right. And so you can spend $500 on an intro. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. But I just wanted to show you where I got mine done. All right. Back to Fiverr. They're going to ask you if you want a custom intro or an extra done, make sure a couple of things. This is a really good provider because why? They've got 5 out of 5 stars and 161 clients they've done business for. 4.9 out of 209, or 4.9 stars with 209. So that's good. Look for as close to 5 stars as you can get, preferably 5 stars, and someone that's done business. And then when you click on it, they're going to ask you for, continue. Oh boy, what is my, email? Oh, I'm not joining. I'm already on Fiverr. What's this talking about? Saturday Sam. Saturday Sam. Okay. So when you get in here, after you join, they're going to, I only speak English, blah, 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 blah. Just make sure you look at the requirements. I don't want to spend a lot of time on Fiverr, but it's all self-explanatory. Once you place your order, here's, if you want to spend more money, all of this stuff, ask them what this means. Choose this option if you tend to use this voiceover for promoting your product or service in non-paid marketing channels. Choose this option if you tend to use voiceover for advertising your product or service in paid broadcasting channels like radio, TV, and internet. Okay, so commercial rights is probably what you want to do. Add $10 to it. Okay, so just be real clear before you pay. All right, but this is the least expensive way to have intro and extra music done, customized like the way you heard mine, okay? Now, let's use Audio Jungle as an example, okay? So let's go back to Audio Jungle, and let's say you purchased, let's say you purchased a sample track, okay? After you make that purchase, or whoever sends you your music, it could be done on Fiverr, they're going to send you an MP3 file, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to search for that MP3 file on your computer that you just downloaded. And let me see, download. This is it right here. See that Audio Jungle? This is one of the an audio I downloaded a while back, okay? This is exactly how it's going to come to you. It's going to come in a zip file. You're going to unzip it. You're going to say Audio Jungle right here. And then here's the MP3 and the WAV option right here, okay? This MP3 file, I'm going to go back to Audacity. So just follow along, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. we're going to go back to Audacity. We're going to open up a new, just file new. That's all I did. I just opened up a new track. That's all I did. I'm going to import that audio that I just bought from Audio Jungle. Okay. I'm going to download the MP3. I'm going to bring it in, import it. But it's 2 minutes long. I can't have a 2 minute long intro, right? Let's do this. Let's listen for a second. All right. I've heard enough. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to about 20 seconds all the way over here. Remember, I'm doing the click and drag. That's all I'm doing. See this selector tool is highlighted? I'm just going to cut it. So I'm going to cut it down. Now it ends after what? Let's zoom in here. When's it end? Probably around 20 some seconds. You can always tell where you are, guys, by looking down here. Audio position is at 19 seconds. And then at the end, it's at 22.52 seconds. See where I'm pointing down here? So you can always tell how many seconds into the audio you are by looking down at this audio position thing, okay? So this is about 23 seconds. That's fine. So what am I going to do? I'm going to save this. I'm going to export it as an MP3, and I'm going to label it my intro music so I always have it on my computer. So I bought it from Audio Jungle. I brought in this 2 minute audio that they sent. They might even send you a 4 minute audio. Take out everything but the first 23 seconds, okay? Export it as an MP3. Just save it, okay? It's saved. Okay, well, you know what I should have done is name it. Hold on 1 second so I know where to find it. Intro Music GBS 2018. Okay, it's in my documents saved as an MP3 file so I know where to find it. Okay, Intro Music GBS 2018. Save it. All right. Now I'm going to go, guess what I'm going to do now? I'm going to file. I'm going to import that audio I just saved as an intro. I'm going to find it on my computer. Where was that? iCloud? I think I forgot it. There it is. Intro Music 2018. There it is. How do I know? Because it says it right there. See where my mouse is pointing? It says Intro Music GBS. You can read it right there. And this is the podcast that I created. Okay? So I'm going to zoom out just for a little bit. And let's say that this podcast was 15 minutes long. All right? Now, here's one thing you gotta understand. When I did that little editing, I stopped here. Remember, I fast forwarded and I started talking again. This is now a separate component to your podcast because you stopped and started. Okay, so all I did is I took this selector tool and I clicked on this arrow here that is also called the time shift tool. These are the only two you're going to use most of the time. So I need to make sure this intro music is at the very beginning of my audio, right? Because it's my intro music. So I'm going to slide everything to the back. I'm going to zoom out, make it easier. Everything goes after the intro, okay? So you've got your intro music. Okay, I want my podcast to start right after that intro music. So I'm going to take this tool, this time shift tool, and I'm going to slide the beginning of my show. When it's lined up perfectly, you're going to get a yellow arrow, but that's fine. You don't got to be that exact. You just zoom in and move it to where it's going to start, and you'll get good at this, but here you go.
Hey everyone, it's Sam Crowley. I want to welcome you to the number.
See how that worked? See how that worked? Now, here's one cool thing you can do, all right? If you want to get a little bit more geek out on this stuff, you can take about the last 5 seconds of your intro music. So we'll go from 22, let's say to 16, highlight it with the selector tool, fade out like that. So it fades out, and then bring your music in where you're kind of talking over it like this, and you'll hear how it sounds.
Hey everyone, it's Sam Crowley. I want to
See
welcome
how much better that sounds? So it doesn't just have a hard stop where the music is. And then we'll bring the rest of it over, time shift tool, so it connects. And this is only if you had to do editing, would you ever have to use this time shift tool, okay? Make sure that's connected. It is, all right, that's cool. Zoom back out. Now you've got your podcast. And so what do you do at the end? You bring in that same audio file, import your audio, GBS 2018, right here, intro music. I'm going to bring that now over here to the very end. And you can also bring it up to the next track like that. So it's on the same track. So if I fade it out, what do you think I want to do now? I want to fade in, right? So let's take the first 5 seconds. 45 to 5, say right here. Whoops. Go back to Audacity here. Effect. Fade in. So now you've got the opposite. It starts out slowly fading in as you stop talking. Take a listen.
Experience and wisdom, and then you become unstoppable.
And then it builds up. It builds up to where it's at the regular volume. That's it. That's your entire podcast. So it doesn't matter how long your show is, guys. You could go 7 minutes, 17 minutes, an hour and 7 minutes. And we'll get into this when we talk more about marketing. And even, I'm going to bring this up every week. It's so important that you have an insatiable passion and desire for the topic that you're speaking about. And please do not judge your voice. Say, I want everybody to type, I promise, right now into the chat that you will not judge your voice. I'm not going any further till I see everybody say, I promise, that's it, that you will not judge your voice. Because you are going to be your worst critic. All right? All right, good. Everybody. All right. Beautiful. All right. So you just made a promise that you are going to not judge how you sound. It's not up to you, guys. This is not about you. Okay. This is about your audience. This is about everybody here on iTunes that loves you because you're authentic. That's what it's about. So if you, for a minute, are going to judge your voice, oh, I can't upload that, I sound horrible, blah, 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 blah. Don't do it. Let me say, Karen says, what's an optimal length for your intro and outro? I know yours is one. I would say that's a really good question, first of all, Karen. A good length is between 15 to 20 seconds. 15 to 20 seconds. Okay? Mine's just obnoxious. And I'm too lazy to change it. So. All right. Now, we've got our podcast done, okay? So you've recorded your main message, and all guys, always record your message first, and then bring in the intro and extra music. You don't need to fiddle with any of that stuff. So always record your message first. So I mean the basic core of your message, record it first, okay? And then bring in the intro and the extra music, all right? And that's all the editing you'll have to do. Got it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So what do we do with this? How do we get this? We're going to take a hard stop in a few minutes, and next week, next Monday, I'm going to show you exactly how this gets onto iTunes. Your homework is to record your podcast. Now, it doesn't need to be the one that ends up on iTunes. Okay. But here's what I want you to do, okay? And I'm going to actually open up, let me just open up Pages here for a second. New document. Okay. Okay. This is what I want you to practice, okay? This is your homework as well, all right? Who are you? What's the podcast about? Why are you launching now? I mean, why now? What's the movement you're looking to create? And why should I listen? All right, answer those 4 questions on your initial podcast as you practice in Audacity. And look, I'll give everybody permission to record, delete. I get it, okay? I'm just saying once you get out of the gates, don't judge your voice, okay? But if you want to record some and then practice and delete it, that's fine. I get that part, okay? But once you're out of the gates, don't create momentum with your show and then pull the engine off the train while it's going on the tracks 100 miles an hour. Because you're going to start getting downloads right away. And it's people like, nah, guys, you're going to get downloads from all over the place, okay, immediately as soon as your show goes live. So here's your homework. When you start recording, answer these 4 questions. So if this were my show, I'd say, hey, everybody, my name's Sam Crowley, and I just launched the Every Day is Saturday podcast. This is episode number 1. And it's funny, I never in a million years thought I'd have a show on iTunes, but my daughter asked me, Daddy, is tomorrow Saturday? Daddy, is tomorrow Saturday? Over and over and over again. So I thought, that's a great question. I wonder if anybody else has that question. And so I'm launching my show right now in 2018 because I value freedom over security. I believe that my best life hasn't even happened yet. And I want this show to inspire and to motivate dreamers and doers and entrepreneurs all around the globe. And if that resonates with you, then please subscribe to this podcast. It's going to be a regular show. I'm going to pump out as much content as I can. It's going to be authentic. It's going to be from the heart. And a lot of it hopefully resonates with you. And so make sure you subscribe to the show. And if you wouldn't mind, leave a rating, even if it's for this one podcast here. But I will tell you this much. My goal is to inspire, motivate, and empower people all around the world to create a lifetime full of Saturdays. That's it. Now, if you want to go in and share a story, that's great. Like, I would have done more. Like, I would have said, boy, it's funny. I used to be a corporate slave, stuck in the rat race for 15 years. And, I used to always think, there's got to be a better life out there. There's got to be a better life out there than what I got right now. And I want to share with you actually a funny story that happened to me. And I would just talk. That would be my show. Now, should you have notes? Sure. You can have an outline, a few notes on a note card. Or the beauty of it is, guys, think about this, all right? You've got Audacity open. You don't need to be looking at Audacity. Once this thing's recorded, you can minimize it if you want to. You can just be looking at your notes, okay? And so the beauty of this is there's nobody watching. You're by yourself. You're looking at your little bullet points here like you've got right here on this document, and you can just talk, okay? And to stay on track, look at it and just make sure that I talk about who I was. Yes. What? And you can always say, geez, I'm a little bit nervous. I mean, it's my first podcast. I've never really recorded before. And I'm doing this from my heart. I'm not doing it because it's the only message out there and it's the right message out there. You know why I'm doing this? I'm doing this because it's my message and it's my message to you. So if this resonates with you, go ahead and subscribe. And the next time I record my podcast number 2, which is going to be real shortly, you'll be notified of it. And if you want to get a hold of me, go to xyz.com, send me an email, and let's connect. That type of thing. Just be natural. Be who you are. Just be who you are. Okay? Does that help? Having that document open so you can refer to that and practice. Practice. Okay? And this is the only week. All right? I'm literally sprinkling holy water through my computer onto everybody on the training to allow you dispensation to delete the audio that you create. This is the only week you get this, okay? The only week you're going to be allowed to delete your audios. After this week, that's it. You have sinned. You have created a podcast sin, all right? Let's go. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Christy. I appreciate that. And guys, if you have to check out of the training now, if you got to go, I know we're going over. I'm sorry. I love over-delivering. I love training on this, if you can't tell. So if you have to leave, it's 6:08 Eastern time right now. If you got to get the kids, make dinner, 3 o'clock on the West Coast, wherever you are, go ahead and check out. You'll get the replay in your inbox tomorrow. Any questions? Let me know. Type them into the chat. I'll stay till the very last question is answered. How was this training? You guys good so far? Week 1, satisfied? And please don't say yes if it wasn't. Just if there's something I could have done better, let me know. If there's something you still want to learn, let me know. Make sure you tell all your friends. Oh my God, I just got podcast training with Sam Crowley. It was amazing. My wife would be giving me the great big eye roll right now. Yeah, that's great, Jamie. That's awesome. I may have already recorded my first product. Good. Thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know. Isn't that wild? Art, been going now an hour and 10 minutes. Feels like 20 minutes, right? Am I going to listen to your first podcast? I'm not going to listen to everybody's first podcast. I would love to tell you that I would, but I won't be listening to 37 people's first podcast. But if you really want me to, send it over. And if it's 20 minutes long, I'll listen to probably half of it. Okay. But keep in mind, guys, we have a 1-hour coaching call when you're ready to jump on the phone, and I'll help you with your message. Okay. Boy, that's a great question, Jeremy. Jeremy asks, what's the best app if you want to record and upload to iTunes from an Android? Let me see here. You know what we're going to do, Jeremy? We're going to Dr. Googs, man. I'm literally going to copy, paste. This is Jeremy's question right there. There we go. Best 20 voice recorder apps for small business, 7 Android apps for recording your podcast anywhere. There you go. Spreaker, Studio, Anchor. These Anchor, though, watch out, because these are your own these are podcast hosting platforms. You don't want to do that. Yeah, okay. Never mind. These are all platform. We're not going to, no, SoundCloud. Guys, look, take my advice. All right, we're going to use a hosting company called Blueberry. Jeremy, I'll get back to your question, by the way. Don't use SoundCloud, any of these places, because SoundCloud almost went out of business. They lost all their funding last year. And if you don't own your own feed domain, your URL, which I'm going to explain what that is next week, if SoundCloud goes out of business, so does your podcast. Okay? This is what we're going to be talking about next week, okay? This is your hosting company. It's called Blueberry Podcast Hosting. And it shows you how many podcasts you have downloaded in a single month, in a year, so on and so forth. The reason I use Blueberry is because I own the feed, okay? They host my audios for me, all these MP3 files you see here, but I own the feed. So if Blueberry goes out of business, my feed is still okay. And I'll talk about how important that is for next week. So I do not like any of those third-party apps like Anchor, SoundCloud, any of these, Podbean, because you don't own the feed. I don't like them. I just don't. So that's my thoughts on that. Back to, hey, Jeremy, let me ask you a question. You can type it into the chat. Do you have, on an iPhone, there's a memos section, okay? So that's what I record into my iPhone. Do you have that similar? I'm guessing you got to have some sort of voice memo on a Android, right? Yeah, that's what I use on my phone. On the iPhone, if you go into the voice memos, it's going to be in your utilities folder, I'm guessing. I mean, that's where it is on mine. Or you can just search your iPhone for voice memos, and that's where it is. Okay? Let me do this. I wonder if I can get hold on one second. Let me see if you guys can bear with me. Hold on. Let me see. Can you guys see me? Okay, cool. So the Mean Green. Yes, we wear green. How do you like this shirt? $8 off the rack at Kohl's. Okay. I don't know if you can see this with the glare. Utilities right here, and then voice memos. This is where I record all of my podcasts, okay? So it's in the utility section. So Jeremy, to answer your question, I mean, look, I would not spend money on a microphone because the voice memo section that I use, I literally, check this out, guys. You can check this out. now don't do this. Don't do this, okay? $150. I just bought this at the Apple store. It's a high quality Shure mic. So this is what I recorded my podcast on Saturday. Don't use it. Okay, I'm just saying, I've been doing this so long and I finally bought a mic that plugs into here. You know what else works fine, Jeremy and everybody else? You know the earbuds that have the microphone, like you talk on the phone when you want to talk to somebody? I use that to record, you know? There's also mics that you can buy on Amazon for $10 that adapt to your iPhone that I've used as well. So I don't know specifically to Android, but it doesn't matter. It's a smartphone. And you can buy any attachment on Amazon. You can speak directly into this, okay, and record it there as well. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Good. You can actually get a view of the old Everyday Saturday office here, the whiteboard out there. All right. I don't know why I just showed you the office, but anyway. Okay, guys. Is there glare coming off the TV? Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? All good? Okay. You're good, I'm good. You're good, I'm good. All right. I have to go home, though. So if you guys don't keep me here, I got to go hear all about the drama that happened in high school today between my 3 teenagers. So anybody have a question, like, you know, anything about how many buttons I got on my shirt or anything, that I don't have to go home and talk to my kids about the drama at the lunch table? Okay. All right. All right, let's see. All right, you guys can, oh, the replay will be in your inbox tomorrow. Okay. So look for that. I'm going to put the replays, all of them, on a private YouTube playlist. I would just ask, look, you guys are the one that paid for the training. Don't share the playlist with people. I don't want to go put it behind 27 different firewalls on a membership site. Just don't share the link with anybody, because you invested in this training. They didn't invest in the training, okay? All right. Okie doke. Well, love it. Hey, we're going almost an hour and 20 minutes. Let me make sure one last time. Any other questions about, all I want you to do, what's your homework? Record your first podcast. What's it going to be about? It's going to answer these questions. Who are you? What's the podcast about? Why are you launching right now? And why should I listen? Okay? That's it. All right. Okay, everybody, you got it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Why did I feel like I needed a mic for my phone? Because I wanted to try it out. I'm just always tinkering around. So Jimmy Amigo Fisherman, you got it. It's a great name. I'm just always tinkering with stuff. So I'm kind of the crash test dummy for this stuff. And if it works, I report back. And if it doesn't, same thing, report back. But I saw it in the Apple store, and it looked like a shiny object. So I bought it. There you go. Yeah, $150 though. No joke. Good Lord. A lot of money to spend on something so small, you know? All right. Yeah, it is dangerous if you're a gadget girl. Absolutely. Okay, everybody. Reminder, you're going to get access to the Everyday Saturday Academy tomorrow in a separate email. It's going to say what? Welcome Momentum Club member. And inside of that, you'll be logging in and get access to the Everyday Saturday Academy. Okay. You'll also get a replay link from me tomorrow that will show this training. And good luck on your audios. We'll see you next week, where we talk about uploading to your host and getting your show on iTunes. All right, guys. Have an amazing day. And yeah. How do we get signed up? Oh, just send me an email, Karen. Send me an email. Let me know a few times that work for you, though. Give me 3 dates and times to choose from. Okay? And we'll knock it out. All right? You guys are awesome. Have an amazing Saturday. All right? And I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.